We want to rank every single quarterback left in the playoffs going into divisional weekend, because this crop of quarterbacks right now, like, we are in a golden age of quarterbacks, and it's amazing to see them all matching up in the playoffs. We've got some intriguing ones for sure. Let's start at number 8. It sucks to put this guy there because he's having an incredible career resurgence, but Baker Mayfield of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, it's not because he is bad, it's just because someone has to be at 8.
It is very, very unfortunate, and we both had a hard time putting this list together because Baker Mayfield's coming off maybe his best game ever. 300-plus yards, 3 touchdowns, making the Eagles' defense look silly, and all season long he has proven that he belongs as not just any starter in the league, but a good one. He's willed this Bucs team to a division title, now a playoff win. The future feels bright for Baker Mayfield, and what a story he's had. Playing scout team defensive line for the Panthers like 12 months ago. Short miracle stint with the Rams that everyone just felt like was a hot flash in the pan. Now he's found a home in Tampa. He looks comfortable. He looks confident. And he's a great story.
He is. And he's part of that elite group now that has won a playoff game with 2 different franchises. It's not a big group. So well done, Baker Mayfield. Number 7. I feel like this is where it got really tough for us. We put Jared Goff at number 7. And I know we both don't feel good about it because we don't want to be prisoner of the moment. And Goff has been to a Super Bowl, and the way he conducts that offense under Ben Johnson, like, he is so good and so underrated. But we just love, I think, the tantalizing talent ahead of him.
Yeah, I think if you're talking all 32 quarterbacks, I don't want this to get missed. I feel like Jared Goff gets into maybe even the top 10 with how good he's playing this year. But maybe it is prisoner of the moment, but Jordan Love is so hot right now. And going into this Sunday, I feel like because of how he's playing, he's got a passer rating above 100 in like 6 straight games.
Yep.
He's not turning the ball over. If you go back to his last 9 now, he's 7-2 with 21 touchdowns and 1 interception. Like, it is crazy, the hot streak that he's on. So we have him at number 6 ahead of Jared Goff. But it does feel like a veteran like Jared Goff that's been there and done that is maybe getting the short end of the stick here with this ranking. But like you said with Baker Mayfield at 8, somebody has to be lower.
And look, Jordan Love's got his biggest and most difficult test ahead of him going into San Francisco, facing that defense, facing Kyle Shanahan on the other side, who can put up points at will. Christian McCaffrey is fully healthy probably now. Like, this is going to be another incredible test for Love that no one is expecting him to pass. No one expected him to pass Dallas, and he did that. So I'm excited to see what the encore is for him, and I'm equally as excited to see what CJ Stroud does in Baltimore. That's the place he started his first NFL game. Didn't go the way he wanted, but he's improved ever since, and he's at number 5.
He is our number 5 quarterback, and I remember watching that in week 1. And first of all, if you were to tell me then that would be an AFC divisional game, I would have thought you were crazy. It was his first game in the NFL. He didn't have a lot to work with. I also didn't know how elite the Ravens defense was at the time, so maybe that gives you a little bit of perspective now when you think of that. But at the time, I was thinking like, oh, CJ Stroud and this Texans organization, they are just going to feed him to the wolves, because traditionally they haven't really supported their quarterbacks with a ton. The way he has turned things around for Houston has been sensational, and he continues to pass every single test. He ripped through Cleveland, one of the best defenses in the league. Now he's got Baltimore, which I feel is the best. What a test it's going to be. What a game it's going to be. You got the MVP in Lamar going up against someone like CJ Stroud, who you think will be in MVP conversations for years to come. So excited for this one.
It's just like every matchup we are treated to is going to be amazing, and it's because of just how good the quarterbacks are. Like CJ Stroud, you are unbelievable. I can't wait to watch you against the Ravens defense.
We got 4 guys left, and boy, these decisions continue to get tougher and tougher. The remaining 4 quarterbacks are Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, and Brock Purdy. So we got 3 AFC quarterbacks and 1 in the NFC. Luca, who is taking the number 4 spot on our list?
This one I know is going to create controversy, as if this list hasn't already, but we have Brock Purdy at 4. And I think from a talent perspective, CJ Stroud and Jordan Love are more talented than him. And I can see them surpassing Brock Purdy as far as any quarterback rankings going into next season because of the arm talent they have, because of their ability to get the ball out quick and be accurate, and just the physical tools are there with those guys, where I don't think you look at Brock Purdy and feel the same way. But I also think that's a bit of a slight to Brock Purdy, because I think he is pretty darn good, and he's not getting maybe the credit that he deserves, and still isn't. We're not saying he's the MVP of the league, but he's also not at 8 with Baker Mayfield or behind these guys based on the season he's had. And maybe it's because of the, again, prisoner of the moment thing. Brock Purdy hasn't played in 2 weeks, had the luxury of sitting at home because he led his team to the number 1 seed in the NFC. That's not by fluke, okay? Like, this guy is a solid quarterback. So I think he is definitely the most controversial person on this ranking, because I feel like people would have him anywhere between 4 and 8.
On to number 3. Who do we have?
I mean, if we'd wanted to talk controversy before with Purdy, this is going to be another one. It's Josh Allen of the Buffalo Bills, especially after the game he had against the Steelers. Not the best weather conditions, but you see the total package. You see the running ability on that wild scramble. I don't know what kind of move he pulled, whether it was like a fake slide that just stunned the Steelers on that long touchdown, but he did that, and through the air, obviously, 3 touchdown passes. He's the ultimate weapon. I just think that the 2 guys ahead of him, I like a little more.
We're now into the category of quarterbacks that can just beat you on their own. And Josh Allen is a one-man wrecking crew. And we talk about players like him. It doesn't matter the scenario. It doesn't matter if it's 3rd and 26 or 4th and 12. There is always a threat for him to make a big play and for you to just sit there and say, wow, what did I just watch? And sometimes with Josh Allen, there is some bad and there is some ugly, but at the end of the day, with how talented he is and how skilled he is and how he continues to prove week in and week out, he can carry the load of an organization on his shoulders. The total package is amazing, and that's what you have him for. He continues to get it done in the playoffs as well for the Bills, and they got a big matchup against the Chiefs, who have a quarterback that we have not yet ranked. Is he our number 2, or is he going to be our number 1?
He's going to be our number 1, because we've got Lamar at number 2, and this is no kind of disrespect to Lamar, who's going to be the MVP of the league. When you look at Patrick Mahomes, and we can talk about both of them right now because obviously the list is revealed, I just think that the pedigree that he has won Super Bowls. He knows what it takes at this time of year. He's going on the road for the first time in his playoff career, which is going to be interesting, but he really is just the QB GOAT. Like, there is no 2 ways about it. And I don't think Lamar is not in that conversation, because what Lamar does is so different than what Patrick Mahomes does. The way he devastates defenses, the way he changes the box counts for defenses and who has to be accountable for him running the football, and the pressure he puts not just on defensive linemen and linebackers trying to sack him and take care of him in the running game, but defensive backs, because he scrambles and extends plays and keeps the play going for upwards of 3 seconds. That's a nightmare for any defense playing against him, trying to cover these really good receivers they have now. And Mark Andrews is back in the fold. And I'm just so impressed with everything about Lamar Jackson. But until Patrick Mahomes gets beaten in the playoffs, I don't know if I can have anyone else at number 1.
It's very, very tough to look past Patrick Mahomes. When you talk about Lamar, you don't have to go very far back in time to remember when everyone was telling this guy that he should be a wide receiver in the NFL. And at every level, and when every naysayer has come with their latest hot take, he has continued to make them look silly. There's one thing he has left to do, and that's get it done in the playoffs. And there's so many good quarterbacks. It's so tough to make this list. But Lamar Jackson, for me, the number 2. Patrick Mahomes, the number 1. His resume speaks for itself.
This is the divisional round. These are our rankings.